Hello everyone and welcome back to Affinity for Commander. My name is Alex, and today we're going to be taking a look at upgrading the Planeswalker Party Precon from Commander Masters. If you wish to purchase any of the cards I'm going to be talking about today, then be sure to use our affiliate link for the fabulous cardmarket.com. They are also where we're going to be getting all our card prices that you see in the video here today. Or if you're one of our lovely viewers from over the pond, then be sure to check out TCG Player or Flipside Gaming affiliate links in the description box below. Using these links doesn't cost you anything extra, but really helps the channel out quite a lot. Now, onto our beloved yet slightly insane Commodore. Commodore Guff is a legendary planeswalker for 1 generic, 1 white, 1 blue, and 1 red mana. He can be your commander, and reads: at the beginning of your end step, put a loyalty counter on another target planeswalker you control. His +1 is to create a 1/1 red wizard creature token with tap, add red, spend his mana only to cast a planeswalker spell. And his -3, you draw X cards, and Commodore Guff deals X damage to each opponent, where X is the number of planeswalkers you control. And he enters with 5 loyalty counters. So this Jeskai coloured Commodore is a pretty reasonable Planeswalker Party Patriarch. Sorry, I'll stop and cease this ill-timed alliteration. His static ability gives more counters to our walkers, his +1 makes a blocker and ramp, and his -3 draws cards and deals damage to each opponent. Now, as I said in my video about the Precon commanders, Commodore Guff is not here to be the big flashy shiny explosive helm of the deck. He is here to make blockers, ramp, and generally keep that Planeswalker engine going through card draw and his 1/1 tokens. Now, with that in mind, let's check out the guest list for this party. At the 2-drop slot, we've got so much ramp you might think we're instead playing an artifact deck. All the talismans in, because I like my colours on demand. Same with the signets of Azorius, Boros, Izzet, and Arcane. Mindstone and Felwar Stone then round of our artifacts. Now you might be thinking, Alex, why are you insisting we put 9 pieces of dedicated ramp at the 2-drop slot? And the reason is twofold. 1. Planeswalkers are usually 3 or 4 mana, so more mana means we'll hopefully have the option to be able to play them and then hold up interaction. And 2. Getting Guff out on turn 3 while people are hopefully still casting their Nature's Law or their own artifacts, we can be +1 in Guff to have more mana next turn. This is essential as we are trying to essentially race to get our walkers out before the board gets clogged up with too many creatures. We've also got our first Planeswalker at the 2-drop slot. It's Tybalt! No, but seriously, it's Jace, Vryn's prodigy, a good looter who flips into Jace Telepath Unbound, a solid way to recur our tutors or removal on his -. Speaking of recursion, we're also running the new Onek Oathkeeper, who is just an annoying little pillow fort card, but then can bring back any downed walker for 6 mana, importantly at instant speed, so that Challenger can be put onto the battlefield in our opponent's end step. Up to the 3-drop slot, we've got our first actual Planeswalker in Dak Faden, a personal favourite of mine for card draw and stealing someone's Soul Ring, which will always be funny. Jace, Cunning Castaway for token generation, looting, and combo enabling, which we'll get to later. Speaking of comboing, Saheeli Rise also here for her unique combo potential, as well as just shoring up our draws with her +1 ability. We're also running her uncommon iteration of Saheeli Sublime Artificer to generate a servo every time we cast a non-creature spell, which includes Planeswalkers, thus granting us blockers while we tick them up. The new Teo Geometric Citation actually comes in with his own blocker. And while his plus isn't great for letting someone else draw, being able to direct attackers with his minus is amazing for ensuring our walks are safe from that token player sitting to our right. As for non-Planeswalker cards, however, we actually have some creatures in Flux Channeler to proliferate our loyalty counters when casting non-creature spells. Honor Worn Shaku, a mana rock that essentially turns our Planeswalkers into mana rocks. Lae'Zel of Vlaakith's Champion is both a combo enabler and just a solid piece of synergy by adding more and more counters to our Planeswalkers. and the Peregrine Dynamo has a lovely ability to double up any of our Planeswalker's activated abilities. The last two creatures here are Mila, Crafty Companion, because proliferating our walkers when they're attacked seems very good, and card draw is never a bad thing. And yes, I know Mila has another side, but Luca is all about creatures, and that's just not this deck's thing. For now though, we're definitely going to be keeping on with the Precon's theme, with the Oaths of Jace and Gideon. Drawing cards is never not strong, and creating blockers is about half this deck's purpose, plus additional loyalty counters never hurt. Up to the 4-drop slot, we've got the majority of the rest of our walkers. Chandra Torture Defiance for ramp, impulse draw, or some sorcery speed creature removal. Jace the Perfected Mind for creature nerf and card draw. And for protection, Kasmina Enigmatic Mentor to give some much needed ward-ish protection to our Planeswalkers. We've also got both Narsets to potentially draw cards and just straight lock our opponents out the game, and for ramp and potential removal with Herminus. Both Teferi's, who are the Master of Time and who stole the Sunset, because that static ability is insane, and this guy, in addition to being good ramp in blue-white, is also a cheeky combo enabler. We're also running some non-Planeswalker cards with 4 CMC. Arena Rector for some much needed tutoring, Displace a Kitten because minusing a walker and then flickering it to do it again just seems like immense value, and the same can be said for Felidar Guardian, but he only does this with his ETB. Kyaikya makes us a 1/1 flying blocker who, more importantly, can be sacrificed for red mana should we need to cast our 3rd Chandra. And Narset Enlightened Master is going to bring us back any smaller downed walkers with her attack trigger, and we shouldn't also be ignoring giving all of our tokens prowess, as again, most of our spells are non-creature. Now to get to the elephant in the room, the Chain Veil. We are of course running this broken artifact as it simply increases the power of any Planeswalker deck it is in. It also simply combos by looking at it too hard, and thus we'll be talking about a lot later in the combos section of this video. Up to the 5-drop slot, we've got 3 more walkers in the new Chandra Legacy Fire, who is one of those just plain old win more cards that might just help you get over the line with more mana, damage on end step, and card draw. Tezzeret the Seeker not only untaps our mana rocks, but can also tutor up our beloved Chain Veil, which is honestly kind of more the reason he's in here. And finally the new walker from the Precon of Vronos Masked Inquisitor. And if you weren't playing Magic that long ago and wondering who this guy even is, well, he basically decided to try and have a diplomatic chat with this guy to ask him to stop murdering so much. Needless to say, negotiations broke down rather quickly. But away from that, Vronos' +1 helps save our Planeswalkers from any combat damage or sorcery speed removal by phasing them out, and offers a good 3-way bounce ability for his minus. Speaking of keeping our super friends safe, board wipes are a must. So let's get around any annoying indestructible by simply exiling everything. Urza's Ruinous Blast and Sunfall all exile rather than destroy and get rid of everything that isn't legendary or just the creatures, but then generates us some good blockers for later use. The last few cards at 5 CMC are Deep Glow Skate to double our loyalty counters, which is honestly the most broken card in the deck apart from the Chain Veil. This little fishy has honestly won me so many games out of nowhere while just ultimating Planeswalkers. Gilded Lotus for Teferi, Tezzeret and Chain Veil combos, and Ignite the Beacon for some instant speed searching to grab whichever walker we need for that given situation. Finally, up to our last few cards, the top end. Farewell is an especially nasty board wipe, getting rid of everything we don't like by exiling it. And speaking of exiling, Ugin the Spirit Dragon is our highest CMC walker, and can just reset the game, leaving us with a reoccurring bolt effect. The last Planeswalker to talk about is Elspeth Sun's Champion, the best token generator in the business, and can get rid of any larger creatures should needs be. We're rounding off with some support in Shark Typhoon to produce us blockers for our walkers, and honestly, if it stays around, a genuine win condition in of itself. Narset, Enlightened Master, who on attack can potentially be letting us cast our Planeswalkers for free from the top of our library. And in the same vein, Deploy the Gatewatch is a little bit riskier with no fixing the top card of our library, but can still be a complete blowout depending on which walkers we get. Now, before we move on to the lands for this deck, I do just want to spend a quick amount of time going over the various combos we have here and how they work. Nice and simply, Saheeli Rai with Felidar Guardian are able to generate infinite cat tokens with haste through flickering Saheeli when each new cat enters and -2ing Saheeli onto the original cat. The Chainveil combos with Teferi who slows the sunset provide we have a creature and a land that can produce 4 or more mana. Simply activate the Chainveil +1 Teferi to untap the Chainveil, the creature and land, and then tap the creature and land to produce the 4 or 5 mana. If you can just generate 4 mana, then you get infinite activations of Planeswalkers. Anything more than 4, and then you're able to get infinite mana to boot. The Veil also works with Lae'Zel and Jace Cunning Castaway, as Jace will enter with 4 counters instead of 3, +1, which is now a +2, and then activate the Chainveil. -5 Jace to create 2 token copies. Each copy enters with 4 loyalty and can activate their ability twice due to the effect of the Chainveil still being active. Repeat this process to get as many Jaces as you want, with half of them having to -5 and then go away instantly, with the rest having 4 loyalty counters on them, and ready to -2 to create infinite 2/2 illusion tokens. Basically, this artifact must be protected at all costs and only played when safe to do so. It is a complete game winner. Moving on to the lands of the deck and beyond fixing, and oh boy do we need fixing considering the color intensity of this deck. We're running Khan's Bastion for some on-the-spot proliferation, Inventor's Fair to tutor up our game-winning jewelry, and finally, all 3 of the Kamigawa lands. The reason for this is simple, as they are uncounterable creature removal in bouncing or dealing damage, or just producing us blockers to safeguard our precious loyalty counters. Overall, Commander Guff is one that I've kind of come around to since his initial spoiling, and whilst yes it might be due to the fact that he himself is a Planeswalker and the repeated activations of his ability with the Teferi Chainveil combo is really good and quite awesome. But apart from that, I love any Planeswalker that has a plus that makes a blocker for them, and the fact that he generates card draw just is more icing on the cake for this lovely party. He's not broken by any means, but he's a solid general for a Planeswalker themed Jeskai deck. Plus, how often do you get to play a Commodore as your general? And that will be the end of the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. What cards are you excited to put in our Planeswalker themed deck? Whatever your thoughts, leave them in the comments below. We read every single one of them. As always, this video and all Affinity for Commander content is made possible thanks to the support of our amazing patrons. You guys are truly awesome. If you too wish to support the channel and have access to exclusive EDH related rewards, then be sure to check out our link in the description box below. You can also support the channel a few of the quick and easy ways, liking this video, subscribing, sharing it on your preferred social media platform, and commenting. But that'll be it from me for now, guys. As always, I have been Alex, and I will see you next time.